Sunrise Daily, coming to you live from our Abuja studio. Standing by with me is Mr. Chidi Nwafor, who is the Director of ICT at the Independent National Electoral Commission. You're very welcome to the program, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
So, you know, the issue around the cloning of the PVCs and the alleged sale of the PVCs at online stores from China is obviously a raging controversy. And it has a lot of Nigerians concerned about the sanctity of the elections coming up in the country. What is your response to the controversy?
Is it a controversy about the PVC on online? The one that they're telling about marketing? Let me say this. First is, yes, there was an advertisement, sort of, by not well-known company on Alibaba. That company did not print our card. So what we did was to get to the company that are technical partners to the company that print the card in Nigeria. What happened? And then we found out that it was somebody who just wanted to do some advertisement. That's what we believe. And so what we did is to make sure that we inform the company and Alibaba to bring it down. And we thought it was only one company because we saw it. And then when that one was brought down, another one also we found out, and it was brought down. So the issue is this. Nigeria should disregard that kind of advertisement. Even if you get that card, you cannot use it for election. I've always been saying it whenever we meet. Election, on election day, you come with your card. There are three things that happen. The first thing is called identification. The person, the assistant presiding officer, takes your card, looks at you, and brings the voters register list to look whether you are there. It's called identification. First of all, to look whether you are there. So if you clone the card, he won't see you. That's number one. After that, the second factor is you verify. And we have done this smart card reader, some secret codes, security codes that are involved, that if you clone the card, it cannot verify. The second part of the security issue is that it will read the card. If it doesn't read the card, it means that card is cloned. And that's why, if people at times spoil their card by the antenna inside, it won't read. And will tell you it's clone card unless you go and change it. That second part is called verification. After that, you now do the authentication, which means on the fingerprint. You can pass the three. And let me say this. In 2015, there were some cards, very small, that we noticed that came to the field and they couldn't read. And we looked at it, we were able to get one or two and found out it's cloned. So if you clone a card, it's useless. You go and print a card, it's useless because of these secret things that we have done.
Now, the natural next question is, if you have been able to identify what some of the issues are in terms of the clone cards, in terms of the source, how comprehensive has that investigation been? Because ultimately the question would be, if one organization has printed the cards, the exclusive partner of INEC who printed the cards, is in some way aligned with any other organization that might have access to the very same technology and not mere clones or not mere fakes, that might be a concern if you haven't been able to establish who that organization may have been. Can you say with 100% certainty that you have seen you know exactly who produces the authentic cards and that they are the only providers of the authentic cards?
Yeah, I know the people that are printing. I'm involved in the documentation to make them to print the card.
Right now, what I'm asking about is if there are any allied organizations within that country of production, for example, that has access to the same technology used by your exclusive partner who produces the cards.
Isn't possible because we have about 4 companies, and all these 4 companies sign non-disclosure commitment, and government is involved. The chip inside is produced by a company. The antenna that is linking the chip to the card is produced by another company. The PVC itself that wraps up to get to a blank card is produced by another company. The personalization is done in Nigeria. All those 3 companies are guaranteed by the government of China that all these things will not. So any person can have a technology of printing a card, but you don't have the specificity of our own to print the card. And that specificity is our own security goods that makes it for somebody not to use it. So you can have a card parading. You can have the outside looks like an INEC card, but use it for, take it to use for that particular election. You find out that you're holding something
you feel certain that that's enough to discriminate between one and the other, essentially?
No. I do not want to say a lot about our security.
Right.
But I'm telling you that we have many factor security authentication on that card. And that is why you find it very difficult for the clone to go through.
I understand.
Yes, sir.
Very quickly, of course, I would never ask you to offer the name of the company you're working with, obviously, but it is worth noting, if possible, is it a state-run company or a private company? Is it a company that has had, for example, previous links with the Chinese government? And the reason why I ask that is because if it is, if a foreign government wanted to, I'm not saying that that's the case, but wanted to potentially meddle in a Nigerian election, that could be a concern given what we've seen around the world in recent years. What are your thoughts?
The card we get from China is a blank card, which means no data is inside. We don't print the card in China. We get a blank card because at that time we don't have Nigerians that produce the technology. Now people are coming up, but the card, the blank card comes to Nigeria, and then the company that printed real using the data to personalize on the card is a Nigerian company, and which we believe with all what we sign cannot and will not and should not do anything to undermine the process.